When you prep and stockpile for the future, obviously you want foods that'll be good for you, but in reality, there are some foods that are flat out bad for you, and you need to understand this. You need to be warned. I'm going to go through 5 foods you need to watch out for because they're actually dangerous to stockpile. Number 1, tuna. Well, not all tuna. We should stockpile tuna. It's a fantastic source of protein, the essential fats you need, inexpensive, it's great stuff. But there's some tuna that's, well, better than others. And when I say better tuna, most people think like albacore tuna, right? Oh, that's good stuff. But the albacore tuna actually gets large, and the larger the tuna gets, the better chance it actually has absorbing mercury, passing it along to you. The smaller tuna is much better. For example, if you get cans of chunk light tuna, those tuna are much smaller. But that's actually not the dangerous part. Because when we look at tuna, different types of sizes and stuff, well, there's sometimes you get white tuna and it's actually nice and white and pinkish. And then sometimes the tuna actually is kind of just pale white. And although we don't see this in the cans as much, we do indeed find it in the grocery store because there's controversy here. 59% of the tuna that we find in the U.S. is not tuna, but a white fish called escolar. Have you had this before? Some people actually eat it, sometimes even in sushi. I never have. But escolar, it's interesting. It's supposed to be absolutely delicious, even savory for that matter. But it's actually known to cause uncontrollable oil anal leakage. No. I mean, who knows how it might actually really does that. But literally, this is a situation where crap will hit the fan. So the escolar tuna is not good. Now, again, in the can, it may not happen so much, but in store-bought tuna, sure. But either way, if you're going to buy any type of white tuna, like albacore or chunk white tuna, something like that, make sure it actually has a little pinkish hue to it because who knows, they may be sneaking escolar into your tuna. Number 2, maple syrup. There's very few natural sweeteners to sweeten up your day. I mean, for example, honey is one of them. Fantastic for the fact that it doesn't expire. It has medicinal uses. But another one's maple syrup. I love maple syrup. We tap our trees every year. And if you get like the real stuff from the tree, it's like night and day difference from the stuff you buy in the store. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Because real maple syrup, by the way, lasts indefinitely or forever as well. And that's great as a natural sweetener. But in the grocery store, what they often do is we'll add in other ingredients. They'll put a little maple syrup flavoring in there to give it the flavor. And then, of course, add all their nasty stuff, including high fructose corn syrup and other things too. So if you're going to buy syrup in the grocery store, make sure you pick it up and read the label. And it either says pure maple syrup, you're good to go. Or if it doesn't, you're not good to go. Put it back because that stuff you do not want to play with. It's actually really bad for you. And of course, we want to stay as healthy as we can during crap hits the fan. Number 3, extra virgin olive oil. Do you use olive oil? We do. Really good stuff. And with that, we use 4 different things in our house only. We either use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. We use butter or ghee, coconut oil, or avocado oil. We stay away from all other vegetable oils, seed oils, everything else. It really causes a lot of problems, inflammation and stuff. But here's the problem. When you look at olive oil, is it olive oil? Even though it says on the bottle, extra virgin olive oil, this has actually been discovered that 80% of olive oils aren't actually olive oil. In fact, it's even connected back to Italy. You think, oh, I've got it from Italy, it's good to go. No, that the Italian mob has gotten into play, and they literally will just put some olive oil flavoring in there and add other stuff into it. And that other stuff could be any type of seed oils, vegetable oils, which again are really bad for you. Let's not even talk about the GMO parts. So anyways, with this, you do the research, make sure you get the olive oil or, what we're talking about as far as like clarified butter, ghee. Actually using butter is actually good for you, no matter what people say, or coconut oil, avocado oil, that type of stuff. If you want to stay away from the avocado oil. But that takes us to number 4, coffee. Oh yes, you coffee drinkers, get ready for this one. There used to be controversy, by the way, and it's actually totally made up, that they used to use formaldehyde to pull caffeine from the coffee beans to make decaf coffee. And that's what we're talking about first is decaf coffee. Personally, I mean, I love coffee. I can't drink it. It messes with my brain, but I love the stuff. And caffeine, I love it. It's good to go. But either way, if you're drinking decaf coffee, I need you to be really careful because in this case, sometimes they use, ready for this, a chemical found in paint stripper called methylene chloride to remove the caffeine from the bean. Crazy. When you can actually do it a natural way, simply just using hot water. It's a little more expensive to do it that way, but it's more of a natural way. Isn't that crazy? And it's funny because literally the government banned using this type of chemical for paint stripper, but the FDA said it's okay for your coffee. Of course they did. The second thing is when we talk about instant coffee. Instant coffee is the perfect coffee, by the way, for preppers because it's already freeze dried. It stays in a container like that for years and years and years. So if you really want to have a coffee fixer in the apocalypse, instant coffee is your way to go. However, all coffee beans, when it's roasted, actually makes a chemical called acrylamide. And acrylamide is known to cause cancer, neurological disorders. And although I think you probably have to have a lot of it to make it happen, instant coffee has twice as much as regular coffee. So something to keep in mind. Maybe switch to tea. Earl Grey is the way to go. Number 5, vanilla. Now this one's super gross, but I'll admit to you, it's really not common. You probably won't come across this, but they actually found, I don't know who found this, by the way, that if you actually secrete like the gland from a beaver, actually from the butt of a beaver, you can get a chemical that actually tastes just like vanilla. Again, how did they figure this out? I don't know. But that vanilla flavor can actually be in food listed as a natural flavoring because it is natural beaver butt, instead of actually using vanilla beans. And that's interesting because when you actually go to ingredients, it may actually say contains vanilla, but if natural ingredients, it may. I really stress the word may have this beaver butt gland scent or taste in it. Now, in reality, the odds of that happening is slim and none because it's expensive. And even though it used to happen in the past, they try to use all the beaver for stuff. It's practically speaking disappeared now from our shelves. The only time you see it, by the way, is they want to put a natural scent into aromas like in colognes and perfumes. You literally may be spraying on your neck some beaver butt gland juice. But anyways, it very well could possibly end up in your food, just not likely, and I wanted you to know about that. Number 6, protein bars. And I want you to be warned about this too, because you'd think, oh, protein bar, that's perfect if you're on keto, carnivore, low carb diet, whatever the case may be. Oh, that's great. Is it? It's interesting. It's almost just like a selling tactic. And if you know of a protein bar who doesn't do this, put it in the comments below because I find they all do this. They load them with carbs because it's something about having the protein bar. They think people won't like the flavor of it, so they douse it full of carbs and thinking that's actually really good. Having high proteins is very good for you for your diet. Having high carbs is not good for you. Many, many diseases because of this. So if we could actually get a protein bar that has low carbs, that'd be good to go. I personally just don't know of any. So before you pick up protein bars and think you're eating healthy, check that label. And the last one's more of a chemical, but it's in our foods too. It's called L-cysteine. L-cysteine is a protein, it's an amino acid derived from all kinds of ingredients I'll show you in a minute. And they'll put it into like usually baked items. For example, McDonald's uses it, Burger King uses it. Almost all Dunkin' Donuts has this in there. And this L-cysteine is derived from a whole bunch of bad stuff. I mean, for example, pig hair, poultry feathers, duck feathers, cow horns. Ready for this? Human hair. Yes, I mean, in other countries, for sure, if you're importing some kind of bakery stuff from other countries like China, they literally take the hair from barbershops, process it, and make it into food. But here in America, it's done too. Keep that in mind. So therefore, you want to understand this L-cysteine is really bad stuff. It's not simply just the gross factor, like, oh, great, I literally am munching somebody's hair, but it actually has all kinds of diseases too. Let's see if I can go through this quickly. I'll try to sound like one of those medical commercials. Side effects of L-cysteine include anxiety, chest pain, confusion, cough, dizziness, lightheadedness, drowsiness, fainting, fast heartbeat, feeling of warmth, fever, muscle tremors, nausea, pain, tenderness, swelling of the foot and leg, rapid deep breathing, redness of the face and arms, and occasionally upper chest, restlessness, stomach cramps, sudden shortness of breath with trouble breathing, and unusual tiredness or weakness. Which the last one's irony because you go to Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee and a donut, and it leads to unusual tiredness and weakness. So you get more Dunkin' Donuts coffee, maybe that's why they do it. All right, anyways, there's some things you actually want to keep away from. In my opinion, just stay far away from these items as the sun's starting to turn and bake me sitting at my desk. But I always appreciate you coming along. Put in the comments below, what are some other things that you stay away from? Absolutely. I really like to hear that because, of course, it's not simply just prepping and surviving, but it's actually thriving and to be able to do it healthily as well. Healthy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.